Ready? 3, 2, 1, let there be light.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. So today's video, we're jumping right back into the build series of building the headlights for my truck. That's what you see right there. And I guess if you're new here, I'll give you a quick peek at the truck as well so you know what you're getting into. There's the old girl, nice 2000 F250 7.3 liter Powerstroke. She's a good old girl, nothing crazy. A lot of work done to her, a lot of work under the hood, and some more stuff that is going on here pretty soon, including the headlight build. As you can see, it is a beautiful day, nice fall weather, leaves are changing, the truck is blending in nice and camouflage-like, or something like that. But we're going to get back to the headlight build. So back to the meat and potatoes of this video. We're going to be focusing on continuing on the headlight build for this truck, building up a set of projector headlights for it. So far they're turning out pretty good. I have to apologize for last video, having it end so abruptly. It was a long day. The camera died and I had just gotten the truck all back together to be able to drive it back to work the next day, so I really didn't get a time to film an outro or anything of the sort. So I apologize for such a kind of a anticlimactic ending. I know I promised a little more in the video, but you saw things didn't go quite as smoothly as I had hoped. Nothing crazy, it just took a little longer. So for today's video, I'm going to be trying to get the headlights fully 100% mounted up inside the housings, and by that I mean 100% get them mounted up inside the housings here and set in stone, for lack of better words. So what that's going to take is actually hooking them up to power, putting the bulbs in, hooking them up to power, and actually testing where the beam patterns are, where they're actually showing in these housings based on how I ground down the backside. Now the important part of this, as I mentioned in the last video, is that kind of once I get them set, I only have vertical adjustment, adjusting the cutoff line up and down. For whatever reason, Ford didn't feel like you were going to need to adjust it to the left and right on these trucks. I don't know why, but that's how it is. So I have to make sure I get the beam pattern perfectly level and aiming in the right direction, so it's not shooting off to the side of the road, or I'm not driving around with my headlights all cross-eyed or whatnot. So I really wish I would have thought of this beforehand. Originally I was thinking I was going to have to be taking them on and off the truck, putting them on the truck, testing the beam pattern, taking them back off, adjusting, back and forth, so on and so forth. But I think what I'm going to do is actually put them into the, mount them to the header panel, because that's what they mount to on the truck anyways. Then I can test the beam pattern from there and have it a lot easier to work on, as opposed to taking them on the truck, or putting them on the truck, taking them off, making adjustments, back and forth, so on and so forth. So unfortunately, I thought of this after the fact, that I already have the 05 to 07 header panel on the truck. I'm not taking it back off, so we're going to make do and use my old header panel. Now I think it should work out all right. I just have to make a couple of adjustments that I'll show you here real quick. Alright, so here on the truck, or here on my old header panel, as you can see I have it out of the truck. I have just the plain empty housing set inside of it for now, and the bottom bolts or screws are in place up against the panel, but I need to, this hole lines up fine, but this one I'll need to do, there you go. This one I'll need to do a little bit of trimming, take that tab off the back just so I can mount it nice and flush, and then these should work out fine. For those of you curious, that's all the cutting you have to do to get an 05 to 07 headlight to fit in the truck. I was running 05 to 07 headlights on this truck previously. They worked out alright, but as you can tell, I'm building a new set. So I got to get that trimmed, and then I will take these and put them back into these housings like they would mount up originally. And then I'll take those housings, put them back on the header panel, and then I think I'm going to probably just set the header panel up on the table. So once I get them all mounted up into the header panel, I should be able to set it on the table and then just project them or shine them onto the inside of the garage door and get a pretty good idea of how they're lining up, and then I'll be able to make adjustments from there. Cross my fingers, knock on wood, this is probably not going to happen, but maybe they'll be perfect the first time. Maybe. Normally you want to adjust your headlights at 25 feet and make sure, of course, nice and level, pointing in the right direction, and then you want to have 2 inches of drop from the headlight itself to whatever surface it's shining on at 25 feet. Right now I'm not going to worry about that. I probably have about 15 feet here in the garage, so I'm just focusing on making sure, one, they're level like I said, and that they're pointing straight forward and not off to the side. And then once I get them on the truck, I'll have the vertical adjustment that I can just adjust manually to make sure that they have the proper amount of drop, so you're not blinding oncoming traffic. So without more talking, I'm going to get to work and get these things mounted up on the old header panel. Alrighty guys, we are at a good spot for me to give you guys an update. I have everything wired up and hooked up, and it's time to test the lights. Ignore the mess of wiring, it's all just a temporary thing, so I can test it out, but let me show you what it looks like. As you saw, I was mounting up the bulbs inside the actual projector, so you can see in there all the wiring going to the ballast there, hooking up to my little mini battery tester. You got your Morimoto relay, other ballast, and the headlight, and I have it all propped up in the header panel towards the garage door. It's not a perfect setup, but it is a pretty good setup so I can see an idea of what it looks like, and it's all nice and square to the garage door. So let's see what it looks like. All I have to do basically is hook up this power wire here to the battery. Everything else is connected except for the high beam selectors. But let me set you guys up so you can get a look of how the headlights are gonna look. Alright, 3, 2, 1, fire. So you can hear the bulbs warming up real quick. And there you go. That's the beam pattern. And as you can see of what I was talking about now you know why it's so important to go through and do all the adjustments
and making sure they're aimed in the right direction before you button them all up. As you can see, that left lens or the left headlight is completely in the wrong spot. The right headlight's not too bad, but it is a little low and to the right, and then the left headlight is a little high and to the left. So basically, what I have to do now is go through and take those out and sand down those projector mounting spots just a little bit on each side, and then put them back in and test it out again. And repeat the process basically. But here you go. Obviously it's not a great setup because it is pretty bright in here, but it gives you a good idea of what it's going to look like in the end, and that kind of clean, crisp cutoff line that I was talking about. So there you guys go. You guys get a little bit of an idea of what it is actually going to look like. I'm pretty darn happy with it. Nice clean lines. By no means is this a super high-end projector kit, so to get something like that, I'm pretty darn happy with it. So it's going to be a pretty tedious process of going through and making the last final bit of adjustments to get these right where I want them to be. So I'm not going to make you guys stick through that whole thing. I think I'm probably going to keep this video going, but I'm not going to make you guys watch the whole process of me going through the fine details of adjusting. So I'm going to get to work on that, and I'll catch you guys whenever the next clip is.
6.5 hours later.
And we are back. So I'm sure that was probably just a few seconds for you guys, but rest assured that was about 6 to 8 hours worth of work, plus a few days in between for me. So we are finally at the point where the headlights are lined up pretty much where I want them to be, and I can show you guys just about what the final product is going to look like with some contingencies. But without making you guys wait and without me rambling along, let me flip off the lights or put you guys in the right direction, flip off the lights, and show you guys what the light output of these lights is actually going to look like. I'm pretty darn happy with it. It's the first time I've ever done it, and I think it's turned out pretty good so far. So let me face you guys against the garage door like it was before. I'll turn off the lights and we'll show you guys what it looks like. Got my fancy studio lighting right there. All right. All right, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, let there be light. What do you guys think? I'm pretty darn happy with it. As you can see, got that nice clean cutoff line on it like I was telling you guys about, so you don't shine off into other drivers' eyes and you get a very bright light down on the road, which is exactly what I wanted. Where we're sitting right now is a little close for actually getting the final aiming and adjustment on them. We'll be bumping it back about another 25 or about another 10 feet to get it to 25 feet, give or take, to get our final adjustments in. But overall, I'm pretty darn happy with them. As you can see on the edges, they do start to bow down a little bit as they get farther out. Not 100% sure if that's how it's supposed to be, but they do look pretty level to me right in the middle of the road, or right between the two beams, which is what I would expect, or at least is what I think is correct. I don't know, but overall I'm pretty darn happy with it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Is this as good as what you expected, not as good as what you expected, or better than what you expected? Let me know what you guys think. I don't have the high beam solenoids hooked up yet, but I can just move it manually for you guys, at least on one side.
So you can kind of get an idea what it does when you open up the high beams, which it basically just opens up the flap inside of it like I showed in my previous video and allows all the light to shine through. So let's see if I can do that for you guys. So that's what the high beam would look like. Put it back down, low beam, high beam. So as you can see, these things put out a ton of light, and these are by no means high-end assemblies. This is about as budget as you can go without it being a Chinese eBay purchase. They're still sold from a reputable company, but they are just the lower end, and that's exactly what I was going for because it's the first time ever doing it, and I didn't want to mess up a nice set of headlights. But overall, I think they turned out pretty good.
Well, alrighty, apologize for the bad lighting, but there you go, guys. That's what the beam pattern is basically going to look like when all is said and done and they're back on the truck, and I can tell you that is a million times better than what the old headlights were on it. These may not be the best of the best as far as projectors go. As a matter of fact, I know they are not, but it is still a million times better than the original headlights that I had on it. So I'm super excited with how these are turning out so far, and I do have a little bit of an upgrade that I'm already going to be doing to them. I'll probably show you guys that in the next video. So speaking of the next video, I think this video is probably around 10 to 15 minutes already, so I'm going to call this one where it's at. I know I hate to keep you guys waiting more, but that's just how it's going to work. So we're going to call this video here. I gave you guys the reveal, so I gave you guys a little bit of what it's going to be, and the next video is when you guys will get to see the final product of the headlights completely assembled, back together, and put on the truck. I promise I will get them back on the truck and show you guys in the next video. So what does that involve from here on out? Basically what we're doing is putting them back together at this point. And so with that, the final piece to the puzzle is going to be putting on these shrouds that cover the projectors themselves, so all you can see is the actual lens of the projector, and then this will be sitting inside the housing, and I'm guessing that these will light up a little bit as well, and you'll be able to see some light coming around the edges, just for a good look. So we're gonna have to do a bit of trimming to get these to fit on there, but once we get them all trimmed up and everything, they'll pop into place. We might put a dab of glue on there so they don't move at all, but they should be good. That is basically it. Once we get that shroud trimmed and lined up where we want it, the headlights are going back together and they're going on the truck. I'm super happy about that. I think I'm actually going to have these things done this weekend. To be completely honest, this project hasn't taken a ton of time. It's taken a number of hours, a couple of days of work for me. I'd say most of that is because I have never done this kind of project before. It's brand new to me. So it's been a lot of learning as we go. As with a lot of the projects on this channel are. A lot of them, I've done the research and I have the idea of how to do them, but I've never done it in person or done it myself, and so it's just learning as we go. Like I always say, sometimes the best way to learn it is just to jump in and do it. This is a project that I was pretty intimidated about taking on. By no means has it been a walk in the park, but by no means is it absolutely impossible to do. So if I can figure it out, I'm sure most of you guys can figure it out. Don't get too intimidated by projects if they don't look too hard. Thankfully, this wasn't my only set of headlights, and I planned it that way. I did go through and buy another set of headlights so that I would have the time to go through this slowly, not rush it, take my time, and kind of enjoy the process a little more. I feel like a lot of the times we get stuck in these projects that we have to do immediately, and they suck because we're just trying to cram as much into a single day or a single weekend as we can, because it all has to be back together and good to go that weekend. I'm really trying to avoid taking on projects like that. This is the kind of work that I enjoy doing. It's a good hobby for me. I'm not just doing this to make videos. I enjoy this stuff, and I'm taking you guys along with me. But I found that if I find myself in projects where I have a deadline and I have to get it done by that night or by that next morning, it just makes it a little more stressful and it's hard to enjoy it. So I'm trying to make myself, or I do the best I can to take on projects and to plan out projects in a way that I'm not rushed and I can take my time and really enjoy the process of learning how to do something new. That would be my recommendation for you guys. Obviously, it's not always doable. Sometimes you just have to get something fixed and get it back on the road. That's just how it is. But if you have the ability to take the time and do a project right and not rush yourself, it's far more enjoyable. And that's what I'm trying to stick to. It's a little tricky when you're doing YouTube videos because you guys want updates like pronto, which I totally understand because I'm the same way when I'm watching channels. But I do my best to get you guys videos. Right now they're weekly. I would love to be able to do twice a week, which I might try to do. I'd be pushing it, but besides the point, try to get you guys good content and not rush myself so I hate what I'm doing. First and foremost, I want this to be enjoyable for me. If the channel grows and I can share it with you guys, that's awesome. Of course, I got off on talking again. So I think that's it for this video. Again, if you guys have not entered for the giveaway for the new door emblems, or if you haven't heard about this giveaway at all, go back to the first video in the series. I'm giving away a brand new set of international door emblems for the 7.3 Powerstroke. Emblems I ended up not putting on my truck, but they're pretty freaking sweet. So all you have to do is to get entered is to comment on the very first video, and just leaving a comment will get you entered. And when this video series is all said and done, so next video I will be doing a random draw of all the people that have commented on the video, and one of you guys will be winning it and I'll mail them to you. So if you're not entered for that, make sure to go back to the first video of this series and comment on the video. If you guys have made it this far, I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys have had a good week. Right now it's a Friday night for me. Living it up, working in the garage tonight. But it's Friday night for me. I'm looking forward to buttoning these things up this weekend. This video is probably going up for you guys on Sunday. Seems to be a good day for uploading. So hopefully you guys have had a good weekend when you see this video. As I always say, if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I'll get back to anybody or everybody that I can. If you like the video, leave it a thumbs up. All of your guys' interaction helps the channel grow. For all you guys that have been following along, I greatly appreciate it. We're coming up on 2,500 subscribers, which is awesome. If you're not subscribed to the channel, I highly encourage you to subscribe. This is just a small taste of what we have done to the truck already. And I can tell you, I have a lot of projects piling up for this truck. So I encourage you to subscribe so you don't miss out. Some of them are some pretty sweet stuff and not very common stuff that you don't see every single day. So I encourage you to subscribe so you don't miss out. Catch you guys on the next video.